classroom discussion on Teaching the Taboo, chapters 5 through 7, Classroom Management, chapters 6 and 7, and What Should I Do, chapter 5. In each of these 3 selections for this week, we blend some academic learning with also students having some social skills and learning how it is to evolve into a participant of a group. In the first section of Teaching the Taboo, we as teachers learn how to spark our students' curiosity and give them tools as far as what's important in techniques of not only curiosity but investigation. I always tell my students that curiosity can be their superpower. Sometimes it can also be your worst enemy. But I think that it's really important to teach students how to investigate, how to be skeptical, and just to utilize their curiosity. And as teachers, if we can do that in the construct of our classrooms, we can really have a natural environment where students can explore, and it can end up being something that teacher and student share. And that's one of the things that these 2 chapters talked about, is that we can not only explore and have an engagement that is a shared responsibility between the teacher and the student, but also we can negotiate and debate different topics so that we can utilize skills of investigation. I always tell my students that my job is to teach them how to think, not what to think. And this works well with my content because of social science. There are some things that are historical realities and some things that view differently based on someone's perspective as to whether or not that would be considered a lie in history, or perhaps something that, depending on which way you look at it, can be negotiated or debated in a different direction. Classroom management, chapter 6 and 7, really work to give our teachers some understanding on the importance of what it is to know the rules and how to keep our classrooms organized. One of the things that stood out to me in these 2 chapters is how important it is to get an understanding from students as to what rules they would set and how to involve them in the rulemaking process of the classroom. There were a lot of, I think there were like 9 different ideas and rules that we can utilize to organize our classrooms, and there's several of them that I use actually with my own children. And one of them is to be consistent. I think that from the first day that we set a standard and we actually teach people how we want to be treated, and that comes from earning respect, giving respect, and getting respected as a student and as a teacher. I think it's very important that students are reminded when a classroom rule has been broken and that there are consequences to that action. And these techniques that can be used will help restore not only our teaching systems on a daily basis, but just teach students what it is to blend academics again with social skills, and how important it is to avoid excuses, bargaining, whining, any of that, so that we can create a classroom that is organized and has a real management plan. In the chapters of What Should I Do, these really hit home with me as far as learning what my role is as a teacher and not just as the gatekeeper of grades. I think that some teachers I've seen during observations and just being in different schools and classrooms and so on and so forth with my own children, you see that some teachers really kind of get a high off of being the grade gatekeeper, and they feel some sense of, superiority or power based on the fact that they have that that power to change a grade. They have that power to set the expectation in the classroom, and they can use that power for, good for the student, or, not so good for the student if they decide that they've had a bad day and they want that student um, to, not have a fair chance, and make the consequence super complex. I think that it's very important that as teachers, we learn that we are going to set high expectations, but that we also find a balance between what the dilemmas are that are going to be fair to the student, and how to teach them to be responsible for their own grade. I think there could be a real danger here of sending an unfair message to students, and it really is important that we teach them how to be responsible for their grades and to balance this power, and also to teach them what fair looks like, so that they know how to expect that from other teachers. So setting a high expectation for my students is something that I'm kind of known for, but I also set a high expectation for myself, and fairness is something that I really want to uphold in my classroom, even when it can be complex. Thank you for listening.